What is going on, Seminole Nation? I'm Aslan Hajavandi, joined by managing editor of Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. It's Corey Clark. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Corey Clark's our lead writer, senior writer. Who cares? That's the guy that we all care about. That's Irish O'Fell. He's our managing editor, Warchant.com. Use the promo code Warchant30 for a 30-day free trial of the website. In the meantime, just hit that thumbs up button, everybody. Maybe even subscribe to our YouTube channel because we drop things like this all the time on the regular, and you want to know as soon as it drops. So you guys want to get ready for spring football. That's why you're here. Let's get them ready for spring football. Ira, going into the spring, I don't know what your expectations were for the team. How have they met them so far? What do you think people should expect to see from maybe the new look 2022 Noles?
I think the biggest thing that I think from a big picture standpoint, the thing that hit me this spring was just how much more how much better everything functions. I think, now you look at year 3 in this system. I think you've got better depth at most positions. There just seems to be much more continuity in terms of like the quarterbacks aren't having to get guys lined up before plays. And even the transfers who came in, they all seem to know exactly what they're doing. Everything just seems to be much more buttoned up. And then because of that, you're seeing better competition. And guys, I think, feel more free to make plays because they're not questioning what they're doing. So I think that's been a big thing. And then just the addition of these transfers has been the other probably huge story for this spring is, they brought in 10 new players, most of them on the offensive side of the ball, a few on defense as well. And so Saturday's spring game will give those fans their first chance to see a lot of those guys.
What should people expect, do you think? Or is it going to be big plays on offense? Will it be a stifling defense? And I guess how much of what you think fans should expect on Saturday kind of lines up to what you were expecting of this team when we started the spring?
Yeah, I would say if we're just going by what we've seen recently in practice, the first team defense will do pretty well against the first team offense. That's been happening a lot. There are some issues up front, maybe some availability not there for certain guys. So the first team defense has been good, man. I think that's my two biggest takeaways. Well, no, there's 3. Not that you asked. I'm going to answer the question I want to answer, whether you asked it or not. My 3 biggest takeaways are the improvement of Tate Rodemaker. That has been a very big development, in my opinion, for the last month. So much so that I don't think you go into the portal for a quarterback unless he goes 2 for 21 on Saturday and looks awful. And you're like, okay, my man just can't do it in front of people. Then you might second guess some things. My second biggest takeaway, my second takeaway, I'm not ranking them. The defense has been really good, I think. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. It looks like it could be not just an average, competent defense like it was last year, but maybe even a good defense, like maybe top 30 in the country, top quarter of the defenses in the country. I mean, they just look good, man. If they can stay healthy up front, I think they're a pretty good defense, and the secondary's been good. And then the 2 transfer wide receivers that are playing, Micah Pittman and Johnny Wilson, make a huge difference. They are just playmakers, man. They don't have to be running scheme to be wide open to go make a play for this football team. They can go make plays on their own, which is something they have not had here in a long time.
Ultimately, what should fans expect then? I guess I know we're telling them kind of, what to expect, but or maybe what should they want to see kind of like on a very micro level? Because we can talk about Jameis's throw in the Garnet and Gold game in 2013, and if that was a harbinger of, 14-0 national championship season. But ultimately, these spring games are so up and down. They're gonna try to do as much good on good as they can. But for that Florida State fan that wants to hope for that 8-9 win window, that feels the optimism bubbling, what are the things you think they should have like a realistic expectation on to hopefully match up with what they'll see Saturday?
Well, defensively, and Corey touched on how well the defense has played. A big part of that, I think, is really Tatum Bethune coming in at linebacker from UCF. And this will be the first chance for FSU fans to see he's wearing number 15 at linebacker, who has been a guy I think he's transformed that group. I mean, I think they're all playing better now because of what he's brought to them. I mean, it's the only explanation I have for why they've been playing better, but he's a really outstanding linebacker. And I think FSU fans for years now have been struggling or have been frustrated seeing some of the struggles at linebacker. And I think they're going to be excited, assuming he plays the full scrimmage or a lot of it, by what they see out of him. But then that group has improved as well. So I think that's one big thing. Jared Verse coming out. Corey talked about the transfers on offense. Jared Verse, another transfer on defense and defensive end. I think if he can show some of what we've seen at times, that burst, that athleticism, It's 6'4", 250 pounds. I think that's going to be something that catches fans' eyes. And then offensively, I just think going back to what Corey said with stretching the field with those wide receivers. This offense, and Corey wrote a column about it yesterday on the site. People can find it at warchant.com. This offense has just been so much of a kind of dink and dunk and Jordan running, the running game and then Jordan running and then just the short to intermediate passing game. They haven't been able to stretch the field. If they can hit some shots down the field to Johnny Wilson, Micah Pittman, maybe even Pokey Wilson, I think that would be a really good sign that for FSU fans to feel like, okay, if teams stack the box like a lot of teams did late last season, we can still have a chance to move the football, and I think they'll want to see that.
They also, Ira, and I bring this up, I talk about this all the time on all the different various platforms. They've got to get so much better at third downs. It's not just hitting big plays through the air, because they did hit a few. Ja'Kai had a couple, Pokey had a couple last year. But hitting the 3rd and 7s, you have to figure out a way to stay on the field, because they were one of the worst teams in the United States on third down conversions on offense. I think these two guys, the way they compete, I'm talking about Johnny Wilson and Michael Pittman, the way they compete, the Johnny Wilson's frame, they should just get that. You should be better just with those guys. Throwing to those guys, I think they have a better idea of how to get open, and they have a better idea of how to attack a ball and make a catch, and a contested catch, which we're seeing so much more of that this year than we did last year from everyone, really. You talk about Bethune and what he did to linebackers. I think you've kind of seen their impact on the rest of the wide receivers, because they're making a few more contested catches.
Corey, I know you don't like promising things to fans and then it doesn't work out. You keep, everybody, if Amarian Cooper allows a completion, don't come at me. He's had a really great spring. He did get beat for a touchdown on Thursday's practice, but I'll live with it. But stop surrounding the fence. Give me like one or two things you think the fans should definitely be able to expect. I know you said that the defense is going to be good, but is there like an individual player or two or some kind of segment you think that, they should keep an eye on, and you feel pretty darn positive and confident that they will be able to deliver in front of 20, 30, 40,000, however many folks packed Oak on Saturday?
I think you'll be happy with what you see from the running backs. I think Trey Benson has been a very good addition. He's got some stuff to him, man, at that size, and he's probably the fastest one they have. He's the biggest and the fastest, which is a nice combination. And he moves laterally a lot better than I thought. So he might impress. And then, I'll go back to Rodemaker, man. I'm in on that guy now. I was not at all. I joked that 4 months ago I wasn't sure why he was playing college football, and now I'm his agent. But he has been so good in this month. He really has. Now he's playing against the second team defense, so he maybe has a little more openings to throw to. But I want to see, and I do expect to see him have a really good I expect him to have a nice game where the people that have been reading our stories and listening to us will understand why we've been so high on him. So Tate, don't let us down.
In that vein, Ira, do you have anything to share, or perhaps how should people look at the offensive line when they do play on Saturday? And that's been a point of contention. Somebody commented that Jeff's concerns on headlines brought them down, and you astutely pointed out that there's 3 of you on that show, and not of you guys don't agree all the time. But is there anything in particular you think the fans should pretty much know, or you feel pretty confident they'll see quite nice on Saturday? And does the offensive line maybe need to have a different sort of gauge of the fans' concerns?
Well, first things first. So you guys had a different view on the play when Amarian Cooper gave up the touchdown. I saw him on the ground. Did Johnny Wilson throw him down? I didn't see a flag, but it was weird to me that Amarian Cooper's laying on the ground and Johnny Wilson's catching
and for the ones that don't know, it was a 1-yard pass. It was a goal line fade to Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7", against Cooper. And, Johnny Wilson was standing in the corner by himself because Cooper was on the ground. He either slipped or my man might have used some physicality and pushed him down. But, you're right. There wasn't a flag, so it still counts as a touchdown, Ira.
It was like Shaq. It was like Shaq. You can't, it's not a foul just because he's a big guy. So that's,
maybe Cooper bounced off of him. But Johnny Wilson, people are going to be impressed. The first time you see him, we've seen him now for a month. But for fans who see him for the first time, this 6'7" dude running around at wide receiver, I think that's going to be something that stands out. But I'm glad you brought up the offensive line. I don't think people are going to be impressed by what they see from the offensive line on Saturday, because we have not been very impressed by what they've done this spring. The only thing I would try to do is encourage you to understand that what you're seeing on Saturday is probably not going to be a reflection of what you see this fall. I think some of the guys who are I think the starting 5 will look different come the fall. I think one or two of these transfers, either Caden Lyles and or Bless Harris, will be in that starting five. I don't know if they will be on Saturday. I also think you get Darius Washington back. He won't be playing on Saturday. And then I think, some of the, Bless Harris has only been on campus for a couple months. He's going to be a much better player by September or by August than he is right now in April. So I think the offensive line is probably not going to look very good, especially when they go up against that first team defensive line. But I think be patient and know that the group that came from last year, almost all those guys are back. So they'll be better. And they did bring in a couple pieces. So I still think that line's going to be better in the fall, even though you may not see it on Saturday.
Right on. Folks, come out to the game. And beforehand, go to Hotel Indigo. We'll have a meet and greet going on from like 12 to 3 o'clock, but not just a meet and greet. During that 12 to 3 o'clock window, there'll be a pregame show with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang going from 1 to 3 o'clock. And then there'll be a watch along with Gene and Tom Lang, and then a postgame show with Gene and Tom Lang too. So we've got you covered front to back the entire day for this Garnet and Gold game. Anything else on the way out people need to know, Ira?
I think, if you want to get there to see Corey Clark, I don't know if you need to be there at 12. I think Corey's going to let the opening acts, the me and you and, some of the riffraff, we're going to be the opening acts early. Corey, I'm guessing Corey's going to stroll in about 2:55, make his quick appearance.
Just give a quick tip of the cap, and then back to my car. Yeah, but look, I had to, I'm a corner pocket on Friday night, right, doing my own version of a meet and greet. So we'll see if I'm up and at them at noon at Hotel Indigo. But hey, if you see us, don't be afraid to come say hello. Obviously don't take too much of our time. We're busy people, but come say hello and be nice to us.
Also, and I know you were going to do it, Aslan, but I'm going to jump in and do your job. But I think, the post-game show, I think are they doing the post-game show?
Yes, they are doing
they're doing a wrap-up show. So if you're not in Tallahassee, there's plenty of content coming at YouTube and Warchant TV.
For Ira and Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching. Stay connected to Warchant.com, the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. Thumbs up on the way out, please. We'd appreciate it. Have a great one.